Let's face the stark truth together, a truth many dare not confront. Is education, that grand pillar we revere, merely a cunning deception? This isn't just a simple question, it's a challenge, a roar demanding awakening. Cast aside the deeply ingrained biases in your mind and join me in exploring the abyss this system has created. Modern education isn't a guiding light. It's a machine that crushes the will to power. It doesn't encourage you to become an independent individual, a Nietzschean Superman, but rather transforms you into a docile sheep within the flock, programmed to conform, to accept what's already molded. You're taught to memorize dry facts, empty formulas. But are you truly taught how to think? How to question the nature of existence? How to discover and assert your own value? The answer is no. This system is designed to produce compliant citizens, cogs fitting into the colossal machinery of industrial society. It stifles your freedom to explore, to create, to transcend the limits others set for you. It instills in you a fear of failure, of straying from the predetermined path. What's the result? A generation of timid individuals, afraid to face life, always seeking validation from outside rather than asserting themselves. The so-called knowledge this system bestows is often just carefully selected fragments of information serving a specific purpose. It conceals the harsh truths about human nature, about the real dynamics of power, about life's brutality. You're taught the history of the victors, but never encouraged to question the history of the vanquished or the buried hidden corners. You're taught science, but not that science is merely one interpretation of the world, and that countless other truths lie beyond the reach of physical laws. Education has made you weak, dependent on external control. You rely on grades to evaluate your self-worth. You rely on degrees to find a place in society. You rely on rules, on molds set by others. This utterly contradicts Nietzsche's philosophy, who believed that humans must overcome themselves, define their own worth, and create meaning for their lives. Look at what they don't teach you. They don't teach you that life is a harsh battlefield where the strong survive and the weak are eliminated. They don't teach you that pain is an indispensable part of growth, and that only when facing the abyss can you find inner strength. They don't teach you that morality, ethics, and justice are merely relative concepts, defined by those who hold power. They don't teach you that the primal instinct, the intrinsic will of humanity, is the craving for power, the desire to transcend all. Instead, they preach equality, love, and compassion. These beautiful concepts, in the system's hands, become invisible chains, binding you to a mediocre existence, a life without the will to strive. They make you fear being different, fear standing out, fear becoming a unique individual. They want you to be part of the crowd, an easily replaceable link in the production chain. The goal of the education system isn't to liberate you, but to imprison you in a mental cage. They want you to accept your fate, to accept what's predetermined, instead of fighting to forge your own destiny. They want you to believe that knowledge is power, but the knowledge they give you is merely a sedative, paralyzing your ability to perceive and resist. Look at this. The most successful people in the real world are often those who dare to break rules, dare to go against the crowd, dare to define success for themselves. They are not perfect products of the education system. They are the ones who saw through this deception, who dared to shed invisible chains and rise on their own. They don't teach you the value of solitude, of facing challenges alone. They always encourage teamwork, community integration. This isn't inherently bad, but it deprives you of the chance to discover inner strength when facing loneliness. When you're alone, battling the world, it's only in those solitary moments that you truly hear the inner voice, the voice of the will to power rising. They don't teach you that struggle and competition are the essence of life. Instead, they preach cooperation, avoiding conflict. This weakens your fighting spirit, making you vulnerable and easily hurt when facing real challenges. Life isn't a rose garden. It's a fierce battlefield where you must fight to survive, to assert yourself. Ask yourself, what have you truly learned from this system? Have you learned to think independently or to repeat what's taught? Have you learned to face harsh truths or to avoid them? Have you learned to define your self-worth or to rely on external validation? Education, in its true sense, must be a process of self-overcoming, self-discovery, and self-creation. It must be a burning fire in your soul, urging you to reach new heights, not a cage trapping you in mediocrity. Abandon the illusion of a perfect education system, where everything is set up for you. Life isn't a planned classroom where you just memorize and follow instructions. Life is a journey full of dangers and opportunities where you must find your own path, overcome challenges, and determine your own destiny. Doubt everything you've been taught. Question every accepted truth. Seek the truth for yourself, no matter how painful. Affirm your will to power, your ability to transcend all limits and barriers. Only then will you truly live, not just exist. Remember, this life is yours. Power is in your hands. Don't let any system, anyone, steal your freedom and your ability to create your own life. Become your own Superman. Transcend what you've been taught and create a meaningful life on your own terms. You are educated to believe that knowledge is a tool for progress, to build a better society. But the knowledge this system imparts is often a censored version, a collection of information carefully selected to maintain the existing order. They teach you about scientific principles, but do they ever truly encourage you to delve into unresolved mysteries, the limits of science? They teach you history, but do they ever truly encourage you to question distorted events, silenced voices? The answer is no. This system fears true knowledge, fears individuals who dare to challenge established definitions. Because true knowledge, knowledge born from doubt, from ceaseless inquiry, is a liberating force. It can shatter illusions, overthrow idols, and expose raw truth. And that is precisely what those who control the education system do not want. They want you to believe you need them to gain knowledge. They want you to believe you need degrees and certificates to have value. This is completely false. Knowledge isn't found in books or lectures. Knowledge is found in life, in experience, in your own engagement. A farmer, though without a degree, can possess deep knowledge about land, crops, and natural laws that no professor could acquire merely by reading books. You've been infected with a fear of the unknown. This system doesn't teach you how to embrace uncertainty, how to live with unanswered questions. Instead, they provide you with ready-made answers, packaged formulas, so you feel safe in a controlled world. This weakens your self-reliance, your ability to find meaning on your own in a vast and mysterious universe. The purpose of this system is to suppress your will to power. The will to power isn't a desire to dominate others. It's the yearning to overcome yourself, to become your strongest, greatest version. It's the inner force that drives you to create, explore, conquer. But the education system has sought to break this will to power from an early age. They teach you that humility is a virtue, that you shouldn't be too confident in yourself. They encourage conformity, integration, rather than uniqueness and individuality. They want you to be part of the collective, a cell in a larger body, rather than an independent, autonomous being. Look at how they treat students who think differently, those who don't fit the mold. They're labeled rebellious, difficult, or even problematic. Instead of nurturing these unique talents, they try to mold them, to bring them back to the predetermined trajectory. This is precisely how the will to power is crushed in its infancy. Life is not a multiple-choice test with one correct answer. Life is a complex tapestry, full of nuances and contradictions, where you must find your own path, create your own masterpiece. The education system has tried to simplify everything, turning life into a series of clear tasks and goals so you feel safe and in control. But this robs life of its richness, its grandeur. They don't teach you how to face failure. Instead, they emphasize the importance of success, of achieving high grades, of earning degrees. This makes you fear risk, fear trying new things, because you fear failure. But only when you dare to fail do you truly learn and grow. Failure is a great teacher, but the education system has tried to strip that teacher from your life. They don't teach you about the nature of power. They don't teach you that power isn't something you acquire externally, but that it's a state of will, an ability to assert yourself. They don't teach you that truly powerful people are those who don't need others' validation, those who are confident in their self-worth and dare to act on their will. Wake up. Don't let the illusions of education hold you back. Break the invisible chains they've placed on you. Seek knowledge everywhere, in every experience, in every encounter. Embrace life's uncertainty, its chaos. Rise from failure. Your actions must stem from a strong will to power, from the desire to define value for yourself, to create meaning for yourself. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for guidance. Create your own path. Be the architect of your own destiny, not a product of the system. Look at the world around you. Those who truly make history, those who change the world, are not those who blindly follow rules. They are the ones who dared to question, dared to challenge, dared to break boundaries. They are the ones who believed in their own will to power and acted upon it. You can do it too. You have the power to transcend all limits, to become an independent, self-reliant, and great individual. Don't let the education system take that away from you. In the world the education system has created, values are inverted. Instead of exalting strength, independence, and free will, they preach equality, humility, and submission. This isn't progress, it's decline, a weakening of human will and spirit. They don't teach you that life is a continuous process of self-overcoming, that you must constantly strive to become stronger, wiser, and more meaningful. Instead, they encourage you to settle, to accept what is, and to be content with mediocrity. This is a subtle form of control, preventing you from reaching your full potential. You're taught to believe in abstract concepts, noble ideals that lack practical grounding. They speak of justice, yet this world is rife with injustice. They speak of equality, yet this society is clearly stratified. They speak of morality, yet the powerful often define morality to their own advantage. Blindly believing these ideals, without the ability to analyze, without the will to resist, will make you a victim of manipulators. The education system has made you a weak person, easily hurt by sweet words, by empty promises. They've stripped you of the ability to see raw truth, the ability to confront the dark aspects of life and human nature. They don't teach you the value of original creation, of producing something that never existed before. Instead, they encourage rote learning, copying, adhering to existing procedures. This weakens your ability to innovate, to see new paths, new breakthroughs. A society that only knows how to copy and conform will never truly progress. You're trapped in a framework where every thought must conform to accepted laws. But the greatest people in history, those who changed the world, were always those who dared to break the mold, dared to think differently, dared to create new laws for themselves. This system wants you to believe you need external guidance, from authorities, from experts. They've created a class of experts to control the flow of information, to define what's right and what's wrong. This weakens your ability to trust your instincts, your ability to make your own decisions and take responsibility for them. Look at what's happening. You're surrounded by people who constantly seek guidance, approval from others. They're afraid to think for themselves, to act on their own. This is precisely the product of a system that has crushed their will to power. The will to power is the ability to set your own values, to create meaning for your own life. It's not about imposing on others, but about self-assertion, about transcending yourself. The education system has tried to break this will by imposing predefined values, pre-assigned meanings on you. They teach you that the ultimate goal is stability, security, a life free of turbulence. But how can a life without turbulence create skilled sailors? How can a life without challenges create heroes? The call of the Superman, of the Übermensch, is the call of transcendence. It's the call that urges you to break boundaries, to exceed expectations, and to forge a life distinctly your own. The Superman isn't a perfect being, but one who constantly overcomes himself, ceaselessly seeks meaning in a meaningless world. You were not born to be a copy of someone else, nor to conform blindly. You were born to be a unique individual, a powerful force capable of changing the world in your own way. Reject the decadent values the education system has tried to instill in you. Affirm your own values: strength, independence, free will, creativity. Face your fears, face uncertainty, and face yourself. Become your own Superman. Define your own life. Live a life full of meaning, power, and transcendence. Don't let anyone, any system, dictate your destiny. Power is in your hands. You are nurtured in an environment where mediocrity is accepted and even celebrated. The education system has turned you into a mediocre being by emphasizing conformity over excellence, uniformity over uniqueness. It has extinguished the flame of aspiration within you, the smoldering fire of the will to power. They don't teach you the art of self-mastery, of determining your own life's direction. Instead, they provide you with a pre-drawn map, a predetermined path. They want you to be a follower, not a leader. This strips you of your ability to take responsibility, your ability to face the consequences of personal choices. Look at how they evaluate you. They evaluate you with numbers, grades, certificates. These don't reflect your true worth. They can't measure the depth of your thought, the strength of your will, or your creative capacity. This is a deception, a way to control and categorize you based on superficial criteria. Education has tried to turn you into an idealist, someone who believes in perfection, in absolute justice. But life is never perfect, and justice is just an illusion. Only when you accept life's brutality, its injustice, can you truly confront it and find ways to overcome it. They don't teach you that life is a continuous struggle, where you must always fight to exist, to assert yourself. They teach you that everything will be fine if you conform, if you follow instructions. This is a lie, a way to make you weak and vulnerable. The will to power is not the oppression of others, but self-assertion, self-overcoming of all limits. It is the unceasing desire to become a better version of yourself, to create new values, to redefine the world in your own way. But the education system has sought to weaken this will to power by imposing outdated values, old standards on you. They want you to conform to what already exists, rather than to challenge and create new things. The revaluation of all values is a command of the will to power. It demands that you question everything you've been taught, every accepted value, and discover for yourself what truly matters to you. It demands that you break illusions, the prejudices deeply ingrained in your mind. This is not an easy process. It requires courage, determination, and the ability to face raw truth. But only when you dare to reevaluate all values can you free yourself from the invisible chains the system has placed on you. Seek meaning for your life on your own terms. Don't accept assigned meanings. Define success for yourself. Don't rely on others' standards. Create your own path. Don't follow the well-trodden route. They don't teach you how to face the meaninglessness of life. Instead, they provide you with false goals, empty reasons to feel meaningful. But only when you accept the meaninglessness, the randomness of the universe, can you create meaning for your life yourself. A deeper and more authentic meaning than anyone else can give you. Look at those who have lived truly meaningful lives. They weren't those who followed every rule, who obeyed every instruction. They were the ones who dared to break every boundary, dared to face meaninglessness, and dared to create new values for themselves. You too have the power to do that. You have the will to power, to transcend all limits, to reevaluate all values, and to forge a life that bears your unique imprint. Don't let the education system steal that from you. You are living in a world where the voice of independence, of difference, is suppressed. The education system has turned you into a subservient being, afraid to stand out, afraid of isolation. It has silenced the roar of the will to power within you, the roar demanding freedom and affirmation. They don't teach you the art of destruction, of breaking down old structures to create new ones. Instead, they encourage conservatism, the maintenance of the existing order. This weakens your ability to innovate, to see opportunities in chaos, in collapse. Look at what has happened in history. All progress comes from those who dared to destroy the old, those who dared to challenge what was accepted. The education system has tried to prevent you from becoming such a destroyer, one who can build a new world from the ashes of the old. You are surrounded by lies, by illusions of truth. This system has created a controlled reality where you are only allowed to see what they want you to see. They have hidden the dark aspects of life, the harsh truths about human nature and society. They don't teach you the importance of discovering the truth for yourself, no matter how painful. Instead, they provide you with sanitized versions, censored stories. This weakens your analytical ability, your critical thinking skills. The will to power is not the imposition of one's will on others, but self-assertion, the self-overcoming of all limits. It is the burning fire within you, urging you to reach new heights, to create new values, and to forge a meaningful life on your own terms. But the education system has tried to extinguish this fire by instilling in you a fear of difference, a fear of straying from the predetermined path. They want you to be complacent, to accept your fate, instead of becoming an architect of destiny. The path to freedom is fraught with thorns and challenges. It requires you to break illusions, prejudices deeply ingrained in your mind. It demands that you confront raw truth, no matter how painful. It demands that you dare to be independent, to be different, to live by your own will to power. This is not an easy process. It requires courage, determination, and the ability to take risks. But only when you dare to embark on this path can you truly free yourself from the invisible chains the system has placed on you. Discover the truth for yourself. Don't accept what's taught blindly. Define your own values. Don't rely on others' standards. Create your own path. Don't follow the well-trodden route. They don't teach you the art of living, of experiencing life fully, without fear. Instead, they provide you with a protected, controlled life, a life without risks, without painful experiences. But only when you dare to live a full life, with all its joys and sorrows, triumphs and failures, do you truly live, not just exist. Look at those who have lived truly meaningful lives. They weren't those who followed every rule, who obeyed every instruction. They were the ones who dared to break every boundary, dared to face their fears, and dared to live life on their own terms. You too have the power to do that. You have the will to power to transcend all limits, to break all chains, and to forge a life that bears your unique imprint. Don't let the education system take that away from you. Wake up. Listen to the roar of fire within you. Let your will to power guide you to the path of freedom, of self-affirmation. This life is yours. Live it on your own terms. We have journeyed together through the layers of illusion the education system has created. We have exposed the raw truth about how it stifles your will to power, how it turns you into a docile sheep within the flock, instead of an independent and powerful individual. You have witnessed how they weaken your ability to think independently, your creativity, and your ability to face the truth. You have seen how they instill in you a fear of failure, of difference, and of determining your own destiny. But now, you know the truth. And knowledge, when used correctly, is power. The power to break chains, the power to escape the mental prison they have built for you. This is not a call for meaningless rebellion. This is a challenge. A call for you to awaken yourself, to think for yourself, and to act for yourself. Become the master of your own life, not a product of the system. Remember, the will to power lies within you. It is the burning fire that urges you to rise, to transcend all limits, and to forge a meaningful life on your own terms. Don't let anyone, any system, extinguish that fire. Doubt everything you've been taught. Question every accepted truth. Seek the truth for yourself, no matter how painful. Embrace the chaos, the meaninglessness of life, and create meaning for it yourself. The path to freedom is not an easy one. It requires courage, perseverance, and the ability to face the solitude of going against the crowd. But only when you dare to embark on that path will you truly live, not just exist. Stand up, affirm your will to power. Become your own Superman. Create a life you truly desire, a life unconstrained by prejudices, by the expectations of others. The time to awaken is now. The time to act is now. Don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. Be the architect of your own destiny.